Good morning from the heart of New York City. This is a Better Self Daily Show dedicated to one thing to learn and apply to live as a better self daily. I'm your host, Angela Shurina, your personal trainer, your personal health and wellness coach, your personal nutritionist, your fellow biohacker, and just someone with a lot of passion for healthy living, healthy food, longevity, healthy eating, fat loss, training, movement, nutrition, everything and anything in between, and just feeling your best, looking your best, and performing your best on all levels. And today we are talking about another question that I'm asked a lot right now when I'm getting ready for sports modeling competition, and the main goal of my nutrition and my training is to maintain my muscle mass at the same time making my body burning fat. And that's what a lot of you guys probably want to do, right? To maintain your muscle mass, to increase your muscle mass, and make your body turn your body into fat burning machine. And there are three main rules that I find the most useful and rules that you gotta follow if you want to preserve the most muscle mass and if you want to burn the most fat, turning your body into a fat burning machine. So how do you do that? How do I do that? Preserving muscle mass, making sure that my body burns fat, and I'm not just losing weight, getting skinny fat, or burning my muscles for fuel, or anything. Just how do I make sure that my body retains the muscle, retains the strength, but at the same time burning fat for the fuel that my body needs for workout and for life. So the first rule is you gotta train with weight. Like, if you don't use your muscles, you lose it. There is just no way around it. You're not gonna look muscular. You're not gonna preserve your muscle mass unless you train with weight, unless you challenge your muscles, unless you give your body a signal that you gotta keep the muscles because you actually need them. So if you don't use them, you lose them. So to preserve your muscle mass, first and foremost, you gotta train and you gotta challenge yourself in the gym. So no light weights, you gotta train with the weight that challenges your body. This is rule number one to preserve your muscle mass and make sure that your body starts burning more fat. Rule number two, you gotta allow your body to start using fat for fuel. And the trick with that is you gotta make sure that your carbohydrates are low enough so your body can burn fat for fuel. What I mean by can, if your carbohydrate intake, especially processed carbohydrates, fast carbohydrates like processed sugars or processed grains, or even fruit, any fast carbohydrates or just too much carbohydrates from even things like grains and potatoes, or any kind of slow carbs. If there are too many carbs in your system and your blood sugar is always elevated, then your insulin is always going to be elevated too. And when you have elevated insulin in your blood, it tells your cells to hold onto fat and burn sugar for fuel. So basically, you do not, and your body cannot use fat for fuel and carbohydrates or sugars, blood sugar, glucose in your blood for fuel at the same time. So when your carbohydrates are always high, your body cannot burn a lot of fat. Your body will destroy your muscles because muscle glycogen, is also a type of fuel that can be converted into blood sugar. Glycogen in your liver, sugar, your body will burn any kind of sugar and turn everything into sugar, because your body can burn either fat or sugar for fuel. It cannot burn both at the same time. So basically, if you're keeping your carbohydrates high, you're setting yourself for failure. You're not going to turn your body into fat burning machines. And that's where you got to starve yourself if you wanted to burn fat on your body, and nobody want to be starving, right? So if you want to turn your body into fat burning machine, if you want to allow your body to burn fat for fuel most of the time, then you gotta keep your carbohydrates low, because again, your body biochemistry works that way. You cannot burn sugar and fat as fuel at the same time. Just not going to happen. It's impossible. That's not how your biochemistry works. And the third rule that you got to follow if you want to maintain your muscle mass and burn a lot of fat, especially body fat, for fuel, you want to maintain protein intake at a higher level than probably a lot of people would do if they were not training. So what I mean by higher level, I would multiply 0.8 by your weight in pounds. If you can calculate your lean body mass or ideal lean body mass, that's even better. So 0.8 or even 1 by your lean body mass in pounds, and then the amount of protein that you want to be getting from ideally from your whole foods when the protein is absorbed the best. Why do you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein? And most people get enough protein, but if you think you might not be, and especially if you train a lot, then make sure that you get enough protein. Otherwise, your body will not have enough resources to maintain all the functions and maintain your muscle mass. So what I did when I started to get ready for sports modeling competition and preserving muscle mass got a priority, so I lowered my fat a little bit from 70-80% to 60%, and I made sure that I consume at least 30% of my calories. That ends up being something around 100 grams of protein for my body weight. That's enough. I make sure that I get that protein on a daily basis from my food, so my body has the resources to maintain the muscle mass, the strength that I need, at the same time burning fat for fuel. And I find that when you follow these 3 rules, it's almost inevitable that you're going to succeed preserving muscle mass, building strength, at the same time burning fat. But if you do not follow one of those rules, then it gets so much harder. So rule number 1, you got to train with weights. If you don't use it, you lose it. Rule number 2, that is very, very important. You cannot burn sugar and fat at the same time. So you got to make sure that your carbohydrates are low, and by low I mean 50 grams tops. Really, that's what I recommend for maximum fat burning. And then rule number 3, you gotta maintain your muscle mass. To preserve your muscle mass, you gotta make sure that you get enough protein, and that's gonna be something around 0.8 or to 1 multiplied by your lean body mass, ideal lean body mass in pounds, and that's the amount of protein you want to be getting from your food. So these are 3 rules to preserve most muscle mass, at the same time burning your body fat for fuel to get that lean physique that a lot of you guys aspire to have. If you have more questions about what I just talked about, shoot me an email to angela@createyourself.today. Need more advice about your nutrition, need more advice on your meal plans, the amount of protein or amount of carbs that you need to be getting with your lifestyle and your training. Shoot me an email with all your questions to angela@createyourself.today. Thank you guys for listening. Go train, work out, feel your best, look your best, perform your best. Until next time, live as a better self today.